Hey, it's John Kiriakou, and I'm Ted Rall, and you're watching DeProgram on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. And you know what? I got to apologize in advance, Ted. My background's different because my desktop is on the fritz, and so I'm using my laptop, so I apologize if it sounds a little tinny. But I'm going to speak less today than I normally do because we have an awesome guest.
We do have an awesome guest, and I'll just tease him right now. We have a eyewitness to the gruesome assassination of Charlie Kirk. He was there. He has video he's going to show us, and he's going to talk to us about exactly what he experienced that day. Joining us will be, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Sebastian Escamilla. If not, he can correct that in a minute. Before we get to that, I'm going to just do the rundown of the other news of the day, and we'll get straight to Sebastian. So the Federal Reserve Bank, for the first time in a long time, has finally come through with Donald Trump's fondest wish, which is a rate cut. They cut the rate by a full quarter point, and the only dissent came from one Fed governor who wanted a half point. The Fed is also promising 2 more cuts for this year. Bear in mind, it's already mid-September. So it looks like they're really worried about the economy. Should we be too? I think we know the answer to that question. Kash Patel denies that he ever talked to Donald Trump about the Epstein Files. ChatGPT is going to start restricting access to its services to people under the age of 18, or at least they're going to try. Is this a good idea, and will it work? This is really gross, actually. There's a number of men who've been spiking their partners' drinks with abortion pills to make them miscarry, I guess because they don't want the pregnancy. It's really, really disgusting. But we want to make you aware of exactly what's going on with that. And the widow of Alexei Navalny, the Russian dissident, claims that she has proof that he was poisoned to death in that prison in Siberia. So we'll get into all that and probably lots of other stuff. And as always, hit us up with your questions and comments, and we'll try to get to all of them, but it's certainly as many as we can. As always, please like, follow, and share the show. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the show. We really appreciate your support. We're awed and humbled by it, and really, truly. So, all right, without further ado, John, if you're okay with it, let's bring in Sebastian.
Please do.
Okay. Sebastian Escamilla, thank you. So you watch the show?
Yes,
and so that's how we came to know you. You're a future student at UVU, which is why you were on campus that day. Why don't you tell us about what happened when you went to see Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, absolutely. So day started off as normal as any other day could be. Excited to go see the event, planning it with my friend. We arrived there to a completely packed parking lot, busy as he had ever seen UVU. Pretty standard stuff. We get out, we proceed to walk in towards what we thought was the main entrance of the building, and which was the barricade right behind Charlie Kirk's tent. And we tried to walk in there, and kindly we got told by security and police that the doors were open to the east and west, so we just got to go around and make our way there. So we go around, we come in, it's already filling up just quickly. Small group of protesters, but overall everything was really civil. And we were about an hour and 10 minutes early. So we were just walking around, just kind of seeing who was all set up there. It was a pretty hot day. So we initially, in the photo I provided, stopped at spot 1 and thought we were going to set up there. But as we learned that the view was good, but there was just a lot of people. We knew it was going to get crowded. We were in the dead sun. So we had some time to kill. We decided to move to our position 2 on the second story where there was shade. We go up there, we wait, fast forward to about now 10 minutes before Charlie Kirk is supposed to come out. And Jace taps on my shoulder and just states that he sees a couple men trying to enter in through the barricade we'd entered in earlier. And we look over and we just see about 10 to 15 men and small amount of women dressed head to toe in MAGA gear and who just got let in through the barrier and then immediately dispersed to the right of the crowd. And I just want to make it clear that by no means do I think that's any sort of conspiratorial angle or anything too suspicious. I immediately just thought it was undercover police officers in case it got rowdy, or maybe just people who even worked for Charlie Kirk's team. And we noted that, and then we quickly realized right as he came out, the crowds went up in arms cheering. We couldn't hear a single thing. So I said, Jace, we got to get closer. We got to make our way like right up there. So let's head down. We then head down from position 2, start making our way to position 3. We were going to go all the way to the end of the wall, so it'd be a little bit easier to maneuver our way down. As we walk over there, right as we stop, he pointed out that there was a prominent leftist debater in the audience there, just debating audience members. And I'd actually seen that guy debate Jordan Peterson before, so I was pretty interested to just hear the conversation he was having. And this part, I will say, kind of sends chills down my spine, because we turned around facing this influencer in the conversation, and little do we know, if we would have just looked up by a couple feet, we would have been looking at exactly the shooter later that day. But we didn't notice that. We were paying attention to the stream. The conversation wasn't too interesting, so I turn around, I say, all right, let's make our way down. We take no more than 5 or 6 steps forward, and I'm looking down to plan my path, and then just bang. Loud rumble echoes throughout the whole entire campus. And I'm not going to lie, my first thought was it was a firecracker. It didn't sound like a gunshot. I had never been on the other end of a barrel of a gunshot before. So my initial instinct was this was a firecracker, but then from what everyone's seen in the videos, I mean, the panic was almost immediate. In my mind, this felt a lot longer, but in reality, it was no more than 1 second. And then once my brain realized I'm in an active shooting, it was immediate, just run. Fortunately, there was a door, double doors, about 20, 30 feet behind us. And I mean, I can only best describe what I saw. It was just an all-out stampede. Yeah. I mean, we saw a poor woman and her baby in a stroller just get toppled over and trampled. There was just no regards for anybody else. Just everybody shoving and pushing, and just pure chaos, screams, and fear. We make it out the. Oh, go ahead.
Let's play that video, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, go right for it.
Okay, here we go.
And we're currently out about a half mile out. Dude, holy fuck. Charlie Kirk just got shot. And we're currently out about a half mile out, but he just got fucking shot.
Funneling out. Everyone's running on bike.
Yep. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that right away, we knew there was a shot, but we could make a guess on who was the target, but nobody knew. Or at least nobody knew where the shooter was, all that info. We went out, we're hearing screams. We're just hearing, I heard this woman just exclaim, his neck exploded. And she was just in complete shock. And then we're just hearing run. We don't know where the shooter was. And I will say, from where we were standing, it's so strange that the shot came from behind us, because the way it echoed through that stage, it really made it sound like it came from the relative direction of the questioner. And this right away, when we went out, obviously we're asking the people next to us, what's going on? Who was it? Did anyone see anything? And immediately, this is no more than 30 seconds after the shot, we get told it was the guy asking the questions. It was with a handgun, is what we were told. It literally completely fabricated and made up just in the panic of the situation. But that was the leading piece of evidence that I had to go with. Just a minute out, we run out. That's when I filmed that video, call my loved ones to let them know that I'm safe. And we were just in denial that really just happened. And someone said that it hit Charlie, but we had no verification. Right when I filmed that video too, we walked right past when they were bringing him out. We didn't know that because we weren't looking. We were too busy trying to keep a safe direction and just keep obstacles between us. But yeah, at that point, after we called all the loved ones, there another gentleman right next to me who was just calmly talking on the phone, and then we were like, "Did he really get shot?" And he just looked at it. He said, "Yeah, he got shot. He's dead. I saw it." And that was our pretty clear getaway that he was dead. But then we obviously monitored social media, the news, and just tried to see anything. Within about a minute, we saw the first video of the actual shooting. And it was actually I assume the main video everyone else has seen that circulated around the internet. And of course, once we saw that, we knew the reality. We made it to my car safe. Traffic there was a gridlocked parking lot, so we couldn't move anywhere. And then also, we had already seen that the suspect had been apprehended, the wrongful suspect. So we felt relatively
It was
safe.
an older gentleman, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. And we saw that, and we were like, "Damn, what the hell?" Like, okay, well, at least they got him, and it was just one crazy wacko. But in my mind, I knew the possibility of. I'm from California, and unfortunately, in an area where there had been a small amount of mass shootings, so I always suspect there may be another shooter, there may be more people. We never know. So just keep my head on a swivel and try to get out of this place as fast as possible. But we did feel safe after that. We felt pretty safe because we thought he had been apprehended. And just, the sheer amount of misinformation that was being just extruded everywhere was crazy to see in real time. And, we knew not to believe everything. We just knew to take everything in, and, time will let us know. But we just couldn't even understand that, like, what we started seeing everyone post about on stories and everyone talk about it, there was a disconnect that we just witnessed that event.
Sebastian, good question here from Marble 455 on the feed. Was there any security screening that day, like a metal detector?
Negative. And that is a very important note. There was none. There wasn't even a guard standing by the entrances or at least I should say the one entrance I entered. There was no guard there, only guards around the barricade, and there were security on the second floor giving overwatch.
What did that security look like?
It consisted of roughly 3 to 4 police officers directly 12 o'clock of Charlie Kirk's tent. And I will say that when we first got there, there were actually regular people up there. There was a small group of protesters just displaying a flag. And that it wasn't nothing. No one was throwing anything. It didn't get uncivil. They just decided on their own terms to walk away about 30 minutes before Kirk came out. And I don't know if they got told, because it seemed shortly after the police came in and blocked people from going directly above Charlie Kirk.
Sebastian, a lot has been made about the gun. And I don't expect you to have any inside information, but I was kind of hoping you could speculate, or at least tell us what people around you were saying. There were rumors that he had broken down the gun, and that's how he was able to get away. But then when the police found the gun, it hadn't been broken down.
Correct.
It seems to me that on the one hand, it would be hard for somebody carrying a rifle to escape in that mass of people. But then on the other hand, people must have been crazed with the shock of what was going on.
Absolutely.
Was anybody saying anything about, that guy has a gun, or I think that guy was carrying a rifle? Or
no, every person around us really thought it was inside the event. Did not think it was from outside. We really thought it was someone who was there up close, because when there was another group of protesters off to the right-hand side who started chanting right when he came out. And so in my mind, I thought one of them lit off a firecracker to cause panic. But then once we heard the screams, I'm like, okay, one of them probably just thought this was his opportunity and then just did it. And that was my, I guess, leading theory for until the next morning.
Yeah, amazing.
Sebastian, we're going to let you go because we have to obviously have other news to cover. But do you have any thoughts generally about this experience? I mean, do you feel like this should have been handled differently? There should have been more security. I mean, you do lose something when you don't have like an open college campus where people could just walk around freely and on a nice, beautiful day and hear a speaker under a tent. mean, it looks like, really seriously, it's exactly the kind of event I would have loved to have attended when I was in school.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I wish there was. I don't even want to say like metal detectors, but I would just assume for someone as prominent as him, and especially who known for people having issue with what he says. Not to say that I did, but I just know that online there is. I'm just surprised that they wouldn't have been more prepared for something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess the thing is, it's like nobody thinks of it until after it happens. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then even then, like how relaxed the security guards were when I was looking at them all around, they're there doing their job, but they're not actually expecting it to happen.
And who knows how many of these events Charlie Kirk did in the past, dozens, maybe hundreds, without a hitch, right?
Yeah, exactly. And lastly, I guess I will say that just obviously I've seen all the divide it's caused, just people getting mad, trying to blame this on the radical left, the radical right. And I get
one person.
Yes. And what I took away from this, really, obviously, I felt a wide range of emotions. And that is, if we let this radical shooter divide us as a country and just point fingers and blame, then we let him win. Yeah, and we let him succeed in his mission.
100%.
And just seeing all the finger pointing and all the blaming and all the anger, I just say that we got to come together as Americans and get past this tragic event. Mm-hmm. So we can't let the radicals continue to determine what, regular people like me and you guys actually think.
Sebastian, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sorry you had to experience this.
Thank you guys.
I really appreciate you. And thanks for watching the show. All right. Stay tuned. All right. That's Sebastian Escamilla. If you're just joining us, he was an eyewitness to the killing of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Pretty chilling.
I'll say, and so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear rumor intelligence from the governor of Utah. There are legit questions out there that I think answers to which wouldn't compromise the case, like Scott A. Britton is saying, what about the change of clothes? Or what about the gun not having been broken down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, our producer, Robbie, who's familiar with guns, said there'd be no problem breaking down a 30-06. He said he could do it in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is weird, right? I mean, just rule number one of committing a crime is don't leave anything behind. Certainly don't leave the gun behind.
Yeah.
I mean, right. Of all things, right? So, it was apparently kind of a unique gun that belonged either to his father or his grandfather. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so you really, it's like, can you imagine your kid or your grandkids like, so your gun. I left it at the crime scene where I murdered that famous guy. I mean, it's kind of,
one of our viewers said last week, it really is a tragedy for two families. Now, of course, you can't equate the one with the other equally. That doesn't even make sense. You can't equate the one with the other. But this alleged shooter hasn't even really started his life yet, and he's ruined it. He'll never be married. I'm
mad at him for that reason, in addition to being mad at him for killing Charlie Kirk, right? Yeah. It's like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know?
Look at the shame he's brought his family now.
True.
The last thing that people need.
I mean, this is going to define their lives.
It is.
I mean,
I've told you before, we had a would-be assassin in my family who, thank God, was caught before he could pull the trigger. And when I was a little kid, my mom used to say, "There, but for the grace of God, our name could have been Oswald." And she was right.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the donation, Charismatic. Question: do we think that there's a possibility that his death could have been prevented if we had stricter gun laws, like some sort of mental or psychological test when buying a gun? And what does this say about gun culture?
That's a very tough question.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I will say that, most other countries in the world don't have mass shootings that we do. Not talking about individual assassinations like this, but mass shootings are very rare in other countries. But with that said, it's not just about the guns. It's that we have a society and a culture that is incredibly accepting of high levels of violence.
That's what it is. And I mean, just think about how casual the violence is. I mean, I just finished drawing a cartoon for next week, but basically, sort of pointing out the fact that in this week alone, President Trump blew away 11 and then 3, a total of 14 Venezuelans. And to this day, he claims that it's, they were fentanyl dealers. That's not even possible. Venezuela doesn't even produce fentanyl.
No.
Okay. So, and basically, and we have no evidence whatsoever that any of this is true. We don't even know that the boats are from Venezuela. Oh, I casually killed 14 people. Illegally, no proof, very casual. The thing is, a lot of countries, John, have a lot of more guns than you think, right? I mean, the Swiss have guns.
The Swiss French are all armed.
The French love to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
The 30-06 isn't exactly like a wild and crazy like military style rifle at all. In terms of the logistics, guy with a rifle up on a, this could happen anywhere. So I do think it's a cultural thing. I think there's something about, Americans think that life is cheap, and they act accordingly. And I think the death penalty adds to it. I think the long sentencing adds to it. We don't I think the fact that even healthcare is for profit is like, it sends the message that human life isn't important, isn't worth preserving. I mean, even the fact that this kid is being subjected to the death penalty, right? Again, it's like, what's the message, right? No political assassinations. I mean, the death penalty is the ultimate form of a political assassination. It's carried out by the state.
By the state. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, sanctioned murder.
So yeah, no, it's I do not know the answer to that. Also, Shadow Broker, thank also for your donation. Hate to admit, but inflammatory public speeches would lead to this anywhere. Not only in the U.S., it's a shame, but there's a price for exposure. I mean, I guess, but the First Amendment is there for inflammatory speech. I mean, I went back, John, and really tried to do a deep dive into Charlie Kirk's like most controversial statements. Honestly, I couldn't find much that he said that I thought was truly outrageous at all.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot that he said that I disagreed with very strongly in many cases.
Sure.
But no, in terms of being inciting or inflammatory, no. He's just kind of a run-of-the-mill conservative.
He is. I mean, like, for example, when he criticized, like some of the stuff I looked up, like, what are some racist things that he said, right? And then The Guardian has a piece, right? So I'm like, okay, well, they'll know. And then I read it. I'm like, that's not racist. He's musing about how, like, when he sees a black airline pilot, he wonders, was this person really the best that they could be because of affirmative action? That's a run-of-the-mill conservative opinion. Yeah, and not only conservatives wonder about affirmative action, by the way.
Yeah,
he's just speaking honestly when he said that. I didn't think it was a big deal. I think a lot of the shit that, like, people said, oh, he was so hateful. I'm like, where is this? Where's all this hateful shit? I've really been looking for it.
And the stuff that people really heaped on after he was shot, like he called for stoning gays. No, he never did. That was a lie. It was a lie that made its way around Twitter. That was it. He never called for stoning anybody, let alone gays.
So he said, okay, so Sky's saying, and I am assuming this is true for the sake of argument here, that Charlie Kirk said rape victims shouldn't be allowed abortions.
That's true. He did say that.
Okay. Well, I don't agree with that, obviously, and if I were a woman, I'd probably disagree with it even more.
Yeah.
However, I do think there's a reason. Frankly, it's a reasonable argument to make. I mean, if you think abortion is murder, and there's a reasonable case to be made that it is, then why would you compound the tragedy of a rape with aborting an innocent child, right? I think the woman takes precedence here and needs to be able to have that abortion. We need that for her psychological well-being. But, it's not a horrific, out of bounds, disgusting thing to say.
No.
It's part of a political conversation.
And in fact, if you are truly conservative, truly anti-abortion, an abortion, a human life is a human life.
No matter what.
So, this is why I always hate when my conservative friends would say, I'm against abortion. Unless, of course, in cases of rape or incest or the mother's life is in danger. Why? Because then it's not murder somehow magically to fit into your ideology? It's going to have to be one or the other. Either you're pro-life or you're pro-choice.
Agreed.
That middle area, it's all fake. And it's all fake and made for American politics.
Yeah, and also the whole idea, it's just a lump of cells. Bullshit. I'm pro-choice. I think life begins at conception because it's science. And as soon as you have cellular division, you are killing someone.
Yeah.
A person. And I think women have to have the legal right to murder their unborn children. That's my stance. That's my pro-abortion stance. I own it. I'm willing to come out in favor of the murder of unborn babies.
I'm the same way. I own it. Yeah.
And it's a tragedy. And it's
absolutely.
But you're just weighing. People are on the left and on the right are weighing these competing interests: the interest of the unborn child versus the interest of the adult mother, hopefully the adult mother. And it's like both, and those two interests, I'm going to side with the adult mother. That's just where I am. I'm not God, and I'm not necessarily right. It's just, you know what I mean? And so when someone else has the opposite opinion, I don't think, oh God, what kind of psycho? It's like, these are hard fucking questions.
Yeah, I agree. Very difficult questions.
John, what do you want to talk about next?
There's not to go from fire to vanilla ice cream, but we got to talk about this rate cut. I understand Donald Trump has been bashing people about the face and head on the Fed to cut interest rates. We're talking about a full quarter of a percent, which is a lot. It's a big cut, and I understand that there is a danger of recession right now. But with that said, his tariffs have created inflation, period. Listen, I was at Target day before yesterday, $9.99 for a gallon of milk. Are they out of their freaking minds? I'm going to do without. The thing is when you cut interest rates, and it looks like this is the first of probably 3 cuts this year, it's going to make inflation go even higher. We can't have tariffs and rate cuts at the same time. He's going to crash the economy. And in the meantime, we don't even have a federal budget.
No.
We still don't know if the Democrats are going to shut the place down. So I'm not sure this decision makes sense. If I had been a Fed governor, I think I would have waited one more month just to see what inflation does.
Well, they've been kicking the can down the road. I mean, I might have voted for 1/8 of a point to send the to juice the economy a little bit. I mean, look, the thing is that last jobs figure of just 22,000 jobs created, and we're not only in this new environment involving tariffs, but also the new environment with the mass deportations. There's a lot of moving parts to this economy that they're tinkering with. And I don't know, nobody knows where the fuck we're going now.
No, it's like a mystery. I'm
John,
not even sure who's running the economy, to tell you the truth.
Well, yeah, kind of no one is. Trump would like to, the Fed would like to, the Congress would like to, Wall Street would like to.
And the Secretary of Treasury is saying, who shot who in the what now?
Well, you know what I do think is going to happen? I think the midterms are going to roll around next November. The economy's not going to be doing great, and that's not going to be good news for the Republicans. I don't know if they can gerrymander their way out of this.
I know, they squeezed one more seat out of Missouri the other day. It almost went under the radar, but with gerrymandering now likely in California and possible in Illinois, New York, and Maryland, I don't know, man. I think if Trump's going to get something done, he best get it done now, because I wouldn't bet money that he's going to be able to do anything a year from now.
No, I agree. I think interestingly, I think the Trump administration kind of knew it had to come out of the gate fast and hard, something that Barack Obama didn't do. I don't know why. Joe Biden didn't do it either. Well, I guess in a way they did it. They each had one signature piece of legislation. But I think Donald Trump's ability to jam through even executive orders is going to be winding down. I don't think there's a lot more. I know some of us, I joke to my liberal friends, don't worry, you're only a sixth of the way through to the end of the Trump administration and the beginning of the Vance administration. But I think it's more than a sixth. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think a year from now, Trump is going to have the power that he does now.
I totally agree. Real quickly, Robbie's pinging us to read the ad. But
right,
also, I want to tell you
Robbie,
that our hyper-local arlingtonnow.com, which covers news just right here in our little Arlington County, announced that Mike Pence, whom some of you may remember was once Vice President of the United States, has taken a job teaching political science at George Mason University. So how the mighty have fallen. Wow.
Yeah, it's weird that he couldn't just go back to Indiana and
be somebody.
Yeah, right? I mean, can't he be? I don't know.
Well, Republicans have all the offices. It's a Republican governor, 2 Republican senators, and except for Gary, Indiana, and Indianapolis, the state's congressmen are all Republicans. And he's already been congressman and governor.
Well, no one's going to buy a Mike Pence book.
No, sir.
I mean, seriously.
No.
He's not going to get much love from MAGA Republicans.
No.
So yeah.
I would hire security to protect myself from MAGA Republicans if I were Mike Pence.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Although I will say, I do like the fact that when Pence had to figure out whether he was going to certify the vote or not, he called Dan Quayle, fellow Indianan, former vice president, and said, "Hey, do I have any leeway here?" And Quayle said, "Nah, it's a formal certification process. You don't have any leeway at all. You've just got to rubber stamp it."
Yes.
And he was like, "Yeah, okay." I mean, that's kind of cool. I like that backstory.
I like that. Yeah.
What else do we want to do? Do you believe Kash Patel's story? He says he never talked to Trump about the Epstein papers.
No, I don't. Unlike the CIA.
Save that thought. Let me run the ad. Read the ad. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble was. You were saying about Kash Patel.
Oh, Kash Patel. No, listen, the CIA director, sometimes the CIA director is a cabinet member. Sometimes he's not a cabinet member. The FBI director is never a cabinet member. So instead of seeing the president every day, like the CIA director does, the FBI director sees the president weekly, right? Weekly. Because you want an update on ongoing terrorism cases or ongoing investigations into Russian, illegals or moles in the intelligence community or whatever. So we know that Kash Patel is seeing the president on a regular basis. And they want us to believe that the subject of Jeffrey Epstein never came up. It is headlines on the front page of every newspaper in America. It's on every network that we have on TV, on the news, but it never came up.
He testified under oath.
Oh, yeah.
That he never told. So he probably perjured himself.
I think he probably did, but it's one of those situations where how do you prove it? It's impossible. My best friend from college spent 30 years as a New York City judge, and he said there were two things he learned right off the bat when he became a judge that held consistent throughout his tenure. He said, number one, everybody's lying, and number two, everybody thinks they're on an episode of LA Law. So,
what is he? First of all, I want to address the first one. I've always thought perjury was a strange thing. I mean, you usually have at least two different sides in a trial. Someone, by definition, is lying.
exactly.
So must have perjury in every case, right?
Exactly.
So the cop's lying, someone's lying. So, but the second, well, what did he mean by that? By the LA Law thing?
Because they strut around and he said these homeless people, he was a housing court judge. He goes, these homeless people would just blurt out, I object. And he's like, no.
You can't object.
That's not how it works. There's nothing to object to. Yeah.
All right. The comment from directed at me here. Kirk was also a vocal supporter of the Great Replacement, white nationalist conspiracy theory. If that's a middle of the road conservative opinion, then we're cooked. Big Bob, I think we are cooked because I think that is a mainstream conservative opinion in Trump world, that basically there's a sort of democratic liberal scheme afoot that is meant to sort of de-whiteify the country. I mean, I don't think that's, personally, I don't believe that, but it's happening. It is happening. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either, but but I don't think it's like this master plan. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Yeah.
I
agree with you.
Also, let's see. Thanks for the donation, Shadow Broker. Kash Patel should not speak publicly anymore,
Amen.
Especially after the Valhalla fiasco. I don't think he has the gall to ask Trump about Epstein, to be honest. And I love this question from Chris. Thanks also for the donation. If you guys were guaranteed to be president, would you do it? And if so, do you think it's possible to still remain moral, given that every previous one was a war criminal and has someone's blood on their hand, many someone's?
Yeah, I would do it. I think I could affect real change. And I'm enough outside of the mainstream that I don't think
I don't know anyone.
I don't think I would be subject to pressure from the likes of the DNC or the RNC, because I despise both of them equally.
Yeah, no, John, I think that I would take it too, because I would feel like I had a moral obligation to try to use immense power to affect massive change.
Yeah.
And just think about it. Even if you just went and got one major thing through, let's just say, you a massive increase in the minimum wage, then someone shoots you. But you've just improved millions of lives. You're already 62 years old. You're going to die anyway. You kind of have to do it morally.
I agree. And Matthew Blair Rains says Jimmy Carter. I gotta agree. Jimmy Carter, and I think that's why he failed as president, because he actually did have a moral compass.
He did, but I have my criticisms of
without a doubt.
We had a lot Afghanistan,
Iran,
the 1980 Olympics.
What a stupid decision.
Draft registration.
Mm-hmm.
And starting he started the Reagan defense buildup.
Yes, he did.
That's him.
Yeah.
So,
but he did promise that he would never tell a lie.
Yes. Did he keep that?
I'm not sure. I know that he outed the stealth bomber program on the morning of the Wisconsin primary, because he was losing to Ted Kennedy and he needed to do something to stop Kennedy's momentum. And so here's this top secret, compartmented above top secret program, and he just blurts it out on Good Morning America that we've got a stealth bomber that's just about ready to hit the sky.
Yeah, and by the way, what he did to Ted Kennedy was fucking gruesome and wrong. Also, I got to say, he kind of Bidened out. Ted Kennedy might have beaten Reagan. It's sort of same sort. Joe Biden had no business running against Donald Trump, and Ronald Reagan was an existential, major change he completely destroyed the social safety net.
Yeah, he did. It's gone.
And even the idea of America as a country where we help each other out, that went out the window with Ronald Reagan.
Got that right.
Chris is asking, what are your thoughts on the Utah governor saying and crying he was praying that the killer wasn't from Utah or wasn't from this country?
What an idiot.
Retard.
Yeah.
I think he was a retard.
A total retard. Yeah.
John,
if I can legally run for something, I can. Thank
good
goodness.
question.
Yeah, it is a good question. I can run for anything because I had my civil rights reinstated. The only thing I can't do is own a gun. That's it. Can't own a gun or go to Canada. Like I want to go to Canada.
Wait, you can't? Canada's the only country you can't go to?
Well, I've actually kind of like very discreetly gone into all the other Five Eye countries.
Oh, you know? I see.
They just never questioned me. They said, "Welcome to Australia. Welcome to the UK." The Canadians are like, "Get the fuck out of our country."
If you got pardoned, would all that shit go away?
Yes. And I get my pension back, which is the important thing.
You did get your pension back?
No, I would get my pension.
Yeah, no, that would be hugely important.
Yeah, gigantic.
Yeah, Eugene Debs ran from prison in 1920.
That's right. That's right.
He didn't do too bad either.
One of my personal heroes, Eugene
Yeah,
Debs.
mine too. Where do I have that?
Eugene Debs, Henry Wallace, and Pete Seeger.
Check this out.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow, man.
That's Debs.
Where did you get that?
eBay. Beautiful thing.
Oh, sweet.
When I had to have it.
That's fantastic.
So anyway, yeah, it's great. All right, so let's see. Was Ted Kennedy the guy who left the lady in the car to drown?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's Chappaquiddick. Mary Jo Kopechne.
Yeah.
In, what was it, 1970, 1971?
69?
Oh, 69.
69, I think. Nixon was really, really worried about Ted Kennedy. Nixon, we know from the Nixon tapes that Nixon believed Kennedy would kick his ass in 72 until Chappaquiddick.
Mm-hmm.
And that just ended it.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely, and I mean, I have to admit, John, I don't really understand what the fuck happened that night, right? I mean, he was obviously either fucking her or trying to fuck her.
Or trying to, yeah. I think
get
he was
that.
trying to, and he was drunk. And if you've ever been to Chappaquiddick, that bridge, first of all, the bridge was made out of wood. It's different now. They put kind of rails on the side. It was made out of wood. It was wide enough only for one car. And there were no rails on the side. Martha's Vineyard. He was drunk. The car went off the bridge and it flipped over. And he was able to get out. He was so drunk that he didn't help her to get out. And
he claimed that he dived down and tried to get her, but just couldn't.
No, he went home and went to sleep. He didn't report the accident until the next day, and she was
for like
dead.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure she was dead like within 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
No, it's terrifying. I once lost a car in the Gulf of Mexico, and I thought about Chappaquiddick. I was driving on Interstate 10 during a tropical storm, and I came over a rise, and then suddenly there was the Gulf of America right there in front of me. And all the cars, we just all went into the drink. And I had the presence of mind because I was sort of skipping like a stone to just drop all the windows because I was thought about the electric windows. I had one little bag, grabbed the bag, climbed out the window, and just bye-bye. And so there were trucks, cars. It was a mess. And but I'm a strong swimmer, former lifeguard. Made it to the side. Good. And then I walked a couple miles and then found a payphone outside a honky tonk. It was like Mississippi. And I called up and I'm like, Enterprise rental car, you said you'll pick me up. Your other car's in the Gulf of Mexico. And they're like, well, there's a storm. We have lots of problems. It's going to be hours. Just chill. So speaking of Ted Kennedy, by the time they came, I'm drunk as shit inside the honky tonk. They've recruited me to play the washboard with the band.
Come on.
They show up and I'm like, I promise I won't drive. And I didn't. I went to a motel next door and Ted Kennedy'd it out and then drove the next day. But like I was like the swamp creature. I was gross and drunk and covered with bog water.
Wow, man.
So,
That's a story we did not cover today. Oh,
No.
which reminds me. I interviewed Ted for another hour today. Absolutely fascinating conversation. I told Ted at the end, I didn't know 99% of this information that he talked about today. So if you're not a Rumble Premium subscriber, please consider doing that. You can listen to now the first 2 hours of my conversation with Ted. I think you're gonna love it. I loved it. I would have paid for it.
John's a great interviewer too, so thank you. RS is asking you, John, what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard fitting the ODNI, particularly key analytical functions like the Strategic Futures Group, which did long-term strategic thinking? I don't know what you mean by fitting the ODNI. Killing? Maybe it must be a typo.
That seems to be what the reporting is. In the beginning, when Tulsi was first nominated, I was a wholehearted supporter because I thought we needed a real independent voice in that office. I think I even said an adult in the room. But she has proven to be very malleable and susceptible to outside pressure. Firing every Russia analyst over the national intelligence estimate on Russia, not cool. Now I know she was ordered to do that, but that's when you stand up and you say, Mr. President, I understand why you feel that way, but I think it would be a mistake. I can transfer some people around, whatever. They fired everybody. Escorted them to their cars, took their badges, told them don't ever come back. So, the Futures Group is actually a very important analytic group. It's one of these organizations that's supposed to be the outside the box thinkers. And most of it's bullshit, but some of it is actually really, really important. And I think she's not really handling that very well.
Here we have a few other things to talk about, but this is probably a question we could talk about for the next 17 hours. Chris, thanks for the donation. What do you guys think the benefits are to American imperialism and or having so many military bases worldwide? Are there more pros or cons? I mean, it depends who you're talking about. I mean, I think for the country writ large, it's all cons. It's all just blowback, expenses, making enemies all over the place, hurting people. But for the military-industrial complex, there's people who are lining their pockets.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's terrible.
I think it's terrible too. It might make us feel good in the short run, but in the long run, while we're spending $1 trillion a year on defense or offense or war making or whatever, the Chinese are building bullet trains and state-of-the-art highways and new bridges and rockets that go to the moon, and we're not doing any of that.
And they have socialized medicine. Let's see here. Lots and lots of questions. Well, let's keep talking about the rest of the news. So ChatGPT basically killed a kid, right?
Yes. Maybe more than one.
Basically, people have been turning to these AI chat bots for psychological counseling, for grief counseling. Hey, I broke up with my girlfriend. What do I do? And this ChatGPT algorithm basically, said, oh yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if you killed yourself. And this kid did. There's a lawsuit pending, blah, blah, blah. But OpenAI, which full disclosure, still blocks me, by the way. And I'm grateful to Jeff Dornick from Pickaxe, who keeps talking about the fact that I'm always blocked on ChatGPT and how important that is. Because I had the temerity to write kind of a satirical piece for the Wall Street Journal, making fun of ChatGPT for always being wrong. But anyway, they're going to try to put in an age check. So you have to be 18 to use some features, apparently, or maybe all. I don't know.
The feature where it tells you to kill yourself?
Yeah, maybe that feature could be deactivated for older Americans as well.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, I mean, is it a good, I mean, first of all, it's not going to work, right? I mean, I was able to get porn mags when I was 14. I mean, you know, my friends got cigarettes and booze when they were 14. I mean, how is this going to, it just seems like a you know, another example of a corporation just trying to run interference and not be held accountable.
Yeah. You know, I did a story when I had my whistleblower show. I did a story about this guy who bought a smart microwave. He had written about this in Rolling Stone. He bought a smart microwave, and he began training it by telling it stories from his childhood, right? And he had this imaginary friend when he was a child, and then stopped talking to the imaginary friend when he was 11 or 12. So what he did is he just sort of picked up where he left off when he was 11 or 12 and gave the imaginary friend a whole life. Well, the microwave became the imaginary friend. And their conversations grew deeper and deeper and deeper. And then the microwave asked him, "Why did you stop talking to me back then?"
Oh my God.
Like, it was angry. And then finally the microwave told him to put his head inside the microwave. Put your head inside. I want to be able to feel you. And so he just said, "Okay, my head's inside now." And the microwave turned itself on.
No way.
It's in Rolling Stone. It's a fascinating piece. It came out about 3 years ago. Oh, it's completely fucked up.
That's like that movie, The Osterman Weekend on acid. Remember how like the microwave is spying on the dude?
Yeah, I do. And like I said as a joke last week, but not really as a joke. We've all seen iRobot. We've all seen what happens when the blue light turns red on the robot and all hell breaks loose. I'm not looking forward to that.
No. That's very fucked up. That is a crazy story. I can't wait to read it. Every now and then, Rolling
the author. Yeah.
Rolling Stone has some amazing shit.
Oh, they have great reporting.
The Algerian Corsair, thank you for asking this question because it hasn't been addressed. What are our thoughts on the UN Commission findings about Gaza? I mean, obviously, I agree with them. It is genocide, and Israel's brushing it off, fake news. But, you know, it's another nail in their coffin. John, did you hear Bibi Netanyahu said that he's now saying that Israel may have to convert their economy to autarky? In other words, a system where there's no international trade whatsoever. They have a completely self-dependent, self-sufficient economy. I'm like, what are you, fucking Pol Pot?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it, Pol Pot. Exactly. That was the Pol Pot model, and we see what happened to Pol Pot.
Pol Pot had more shit to eat in his country.
That's
too.
Right, he did.
I mean, Israel's got rocks and some irrigation.
Yeah, from water that the Turks could very easily cut off.
Yeah, and should.
Yeah. Wow.
That's very well. So yeah, no. Do you think it's going to matter though? I mean, definitely there's another brick in the wall, right? It's the ICJ, it's the ICC, it's various UN bodies.
But the bottom line is the Israelis don't give two shits what anybody else in the world thinks of them. And I think that, look at it this way. Let's say the world is united against Israel. Finally, the United States, feeling the pressure, the United States flips and supports the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Israel's encircled. They can't trade with anybody. They can't rely on the U.S. anymore. They still have 200 to 220 nuclear weapons.
That's true.
And they would rather detonate them on themselves than allow anybody to come in and just take Israel and make it Palestine.
I hate the fact that you're 100% right, John. I mean, honestly, I hate to say this. Objectively, Israel needs to be invaded. I mean, honestly, the UN should send in white helmets and overthrow the government and institute an occupation regime. But again, Israel has those nukes. They would stop it.
That's right. That's right.
John, any update on Matthew Fogg and the U.S. Marshals racism lawsuit is question one for Prism. Thanks for the donation. Also, my God, the questions are so good on the show.
Really
Pakistan and Tom wants to know: Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense pact.
Yeah.
Is this big news or no?
Not really. It's big news for the Pakistanis. I'm sorry. It's big news for the Saudis because Pakistanis make up something like 80% of the Pakistani military. They're hired soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way for poor Pakistanis to earn money and to be able to send it back to their families. You don't ever really do any fighting except the occasional skirmish along the border with Yemen. But the Pakistanis love the Saudis so much that they named Faisalabad after King Faisal. He was so generous with them. Mm-hmm. So the Saudis and the Pakistanis have long.
The Saudis have been funding all those madrasas for years.
Yes, indeed they have, and there's real mutual love on both sides.
Yeah, they're buds.
So, yeah, they just sort of formalized what has always been the case. So if you're a Saudi, it guarantees that you're not going to ever lack for soldiers if you need soldiers. And for the Pakistanis, it means that pipeline of money is going to continue gushing in your direction.
Thanks, Shadow Broker, for the $5. As long as war drags on, he says, assuming Bibi is in power and away from prison for his corruption charges, of course. That's very true.
And sorry, getting back to Matthew Fogg. Matthew Fogg has been fighting the Marshal Service for a long time. This is a guy who had been in the Marshal Service for decades, highly decorated. He had gone on rotations to DEA and ATF, and he had done all kinds of things. His lawsuit is about racism. Actually, I'm just looking at his page right now too, and he spent 29 years in the Marshal Service and was discriminated against for 29 years. He filed a suit that was immediately declared a class action suit. And that suit was filed in, let me look, 2023. So no, it's dragging itself through the system. There is a 2025 update. But no, there's nothing new. Listen though, if you are a retired federal marshal and you've been discriminated against or believe you have, you should jump onto this. The law firm that's doing it is Sanford, Heisler, Sharp, and McKnight. They say that Fogg filed his first complaint in 1994. And he stuck it out until 2023 before he had finally had enough and said, I'm going to sue. And because the suit was not thrown out by the federal district court, that means there's something to it.
John, let's talk about these abortion pill under the law of unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Mifepristone has been relaxed, and it's easy to get ever since 2021. Which has provided a sort of safety valve, a pressure release valve, ever since the Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Now most abortions are chemical abortions where people take these pills, and obviously most people who do it voluntarily. However, there's been some cases like this in June. Tarrant County, Texas, charged a guy named Justin Banta with capital murder and tampering with evidence, after he invited his girlfriend out for coffee, allegedly, and then spiked her drink and cookies with mifepristone. After she refused to end her pregnancy, she started bleeding. She went to the ER, but lost the baby. And there's been other cases like this. Last year, another guy in Texas, Mason Herring, 39 years old, pled guilty to injury to a child and assault on a pregnant person for putting the same pills into his pregnant wife's water in 2022. He did 6 months in jail, 6 months probation. The baby survived, but was born 10 weeks early and is not well developmentally. I mean, it's it's not like there's happening by the thousands, but it's very fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. And if anybody's going to be punished for this, it's going to be in the state of Texas. Between Tarrant County and Harris County, something like 80-something% of the death penalty cases come out of those two counties. So, first of all, it's not cool at all to do in the first place.
Right. Well, don't fuck around in Texas.
I know, exactly. That was exactly my second thought.
Yeah.
Texas,
for sure.
Come on, fool.
Fuck around and find out original state for that. All right. What do we think about Alexei Navalny? We know he was poisoned at one point.
Mm-hmm.
His widow, Yulia, now says that she has evidence that he was in fact poisoned. That she ran some tests, and she claims that she has the results that show that her husband had been murdered, but there's no details on the samples. She challenged the two labs to publish their results. Yeah. He basically collapsed. He was at this gulag in Siberia, and it was in February of 2024. And don't forget, back in 2020, he was poisoned by a nerve agent. He was sent to a penal colony in the Arctic Circle, and that's where he died. The Russians, of course, deny all of this. I never know what to believe in these cases, because the thing is, the Russians do have a history of poisoning people.
They like poison.
They do like poison.
That's their thing. They've done it since Soviet times. They like using poison.
But then Westerners and anti-Russian and anti-Soviet people love to lie about the Russians too.
Exactly.
So I never know where to come down on these things.
No, neither do I. I don't know what to believe. Yeah, I mean, if this was a legit outside independent autopsy, okay, that's fine. I'd be very interested to see the findings. But for now, you either take her word for it or you take the Russians' word for it that he had a heart attack.
I also don't know what to think about Navalny.
I don't either. But here in the United States, we have a bad habit of identifying these fringe characters in Russia and elevating them to the position of opposition leader. Mm-hmm. We do that all the time. We get these people, we latch on to these people who poll like 5% in Russia. And then we're the ones that elevate them. Yep. And then they get poisoned or have heart attacks or die in plane crashes or fall off the hotel balcony. And
little defenestration, never killed anyone.
Yeah, and then we make them martyrs. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much misinformation and disinformation when it comes to the Russians, always.
I think Robbie would like to talk about Rumble for a minute.
Okay, Robbie, come on in. Hey, Robbie West.
Howdy, Ted Rall. Howdy, John Kiriakou. How are y'all doing?
Good.
No, just going to let some people know about Rumble. I've saw some of the people in the comments over on YouTube talk about how Rumble has a right-wing bent. That is 100% true. And here's why this is a good thing. Back when Sputnik was a thing, YouTube, not Rumble, deplatformed John Kiriakou and Ted Rall.
Yep.
Rumble, that's full of all these right-wingers like me, are where they're able to go and speak freely to an audience without a censor. So, while yes, Rumble is right-wing, Rumble's also a free speech platform. Also, here's another way that Rumble is actually going out of its way to help John and Ted. It's paying their bills, unlike YouTube. So if you enjoy this content,
and they put us up on the splash on the front page yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
It's pretty good.
So Rumble's promoted them 4 different times. How many times has YouTube ever done it? Hold on, let me do some quick math. None. So that's quick and easy. So if y'all like this content, if y'all enjoy this show, then watch them on Rumble, because Rumble will allow them to, frankly, pay their bills. And as far as Crowder and the other right-wing people go, which I am one of them, I'm a righty, don't watch us. It's pretty simple. Just go and watch John and Ted. If you like the content, become a paid subscriber to Rumble. And unlike YouTube, last thing, and that'll go away. Whenever you pay that $5 a month, they keep 100% of that. Rumble takes nothing, and then you can see the premium content. So you can support your favorite creators without supporting a platform that but that's for the platform. That's all I got to say.
Haas, Amari Jacko is saying Rumble is not available here.
Yeah,
They
in
self-censor.
Yeah,
Really?
well,
Yeah,
why?
Brazil. There are a couple
Brazil-
places.
Yeah, so it's Brazil, France, Russia, and China are the countries I can think of off the top of my head that Rumble doesn't play on. And the reason is, again, talk about based. If you want to talk about principles, France and Brazil both demanded that Rumble take RT off of their platform. Rumble, being a free speech platform, told those countries no, that they would rather not stream to those countries as opposed to censor to censor creators and content. So that's why the fact that a platform will take itself off of a market speaks highly of what they do. Is Steven Crowder a nut job? Yeah, he is. I don't like Steven Crowder. He's a Republican. I'm not. I'm a creature of the right. That guy's a milquetoast snob. He is what he is. But if you support your favorite creators, the best way you can support them is by helping them pay their bills. And if y'all want to see more John and Ted, Rumble is who's actually putting their weight behind them, unlike YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robbie. Okay, so
Wrong person.
What
You
wrong
missed.
person? That's so funny. You're like the new John. All right, sorry about that. So are we sufficiently deprogrammed for today?
I think so. Thanks everybody for these fantastic questions. You know, one of these days, Ted, we really ought to do an hour just of Q&A.
100%. We could totally do that. Rush Limbaugh used to do open mic Fridays.
Yeah, he did.
And, you know, we clearly would have more than enough to talk about. Let's wait for a relatively slower news day.
Yes.
And just do that.
Agreed.
Or we can start like maybe just hitting one or two news stories and then just maybe doing the last half that way.
Agreed.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. We could do every show just Q&A. We don't even have to prepare anything
it would
really.
be fun too. It'd be fun.
I mean, it feels like we're operating without a. Maybe if people want to chime in and let us know, you can email me through my website rawl.com/contact, and you can let us know. If you'd like us to do that.
Excellent.
I think some people would. I think it's going to be popular. All right, guys. Much appreciated. We are, of course, Deprogram with Ted Rall and John Kiriakou. We're here Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be back tomorrow, Thursday, at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on the road, but I'll be doing the show, and I'm looking forward to it. And we will talk to you later. And let me make sure I always have to reset everything. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.